Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Satnam, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Gobind, and this is your Channel for Grace. Thank you guys so much for being here live, and thank you to those of you that are watching the replay. Have you guys missed me? I've totally been MIA, and I'll tell you a little bit about why and all of that in a second, but I'm so happy to be back. I'm finally home and learned a lot of powerful lessons these last couple of weeks. It's been really intense. It was a crazy experience for me. I was out of town, went to visit family and all of that for the holidays. And yeah, learned a lot for sure. So I am so happy to see you guys all here. It feels really good to be back. And when I'm home, I obviously am able to use all my equipment and everything and be here, like more present. So anyways, I digress. Before we hop into the astrology, because what we're going to do tonight is go over the astrology of this full moon in Cancer. I'll go over the general energy of the full moon. I'll talk about the aspects that are happening for the full moon, the symbols, the Sabian symbol, the Chandra symbol, and then we'll also read into the gene key of this full moon. And at the end, I'll go through each of the signs and tell you where this full moon is happening in your chart. And at the end, I think I may pull a card or two. I don't actually have the energy to do like a full-on ceremony. So I wanted to make sure that we start getting back on track here. And so wanted to make sure that I went live tonight and at least talked about the full moon energy. So I'd love to know in the chat what this last 2 weeks has been for you, because for me, it's been insane. And I will take a moment now to say hi to everybody that is in the chat. And again, thank you guys all for being here. Hello, Myrna. Welcome in. Hello, Abby. Joni, welcome. Good to see you guys here. Hello. Who else is in here? We've got Lynette. Welcome in. Raven. Hello, Adriana. Good to see you. Awesome. Raessa is also here. Happy full moon. Who else do we have in the chat? And if you haven't said hi in the chat, make sure you say hi so I can say hi back. Hello, Jeanette. Welcome in. Good to see you. Nelvin is here as well. Kim is also here. Sedona Horse Medicine. Good to see you in here. We're both in the what is it called? The cognition community. I freaking love that. I've got some really cool announcements too to make for you guys. Malaya is here. Welcome in. Thank you, Courtney. It's been a while. Deb, welcome back. Yes, thank you. So excited to be here. Lots of life tests and lessons. Thank you. Mindy, hello. Happy New Year. Yes, Happy New Year, everyone. It's kind of crazy. A look at the stars. Welcome in. It's been more freeing, but my Venus is transiting my natal Venus and it's my birthday season. Oh, well, happy birthday. So here we go. My last 2 weeks has just been insane. Of course, I went into, I was traveling, and so it's always more challenging to go live and do all that stuff while I'm traveling. And I had all these plans. Hello, Lisa, welcome in, to obviously like live stream and like do special things. And obviously I had, all of the Starseed membership broadcasts and videos to film and all that stuff. And then it was like this bombardment of like taking care of business, like just the day to day became full of like responsibilities, and schedules were crazy. Things were happening. I mean, there was like a little bit of drama, and just being submersed and immersed in not my environment. Let's just keep it light. Being submerged in someone else's environment was not my own, obviously, but was actually the most intense like 2 weeks of my life. And I learned so much. I learned more about myself and what I need and how I need to take care of myself in the future if I do any like long trips like that than anything else. And you guys know I'm a projector, so my energy it's limited. It's very limited. If you're a projector, you know this, your energy is limited. You can't just keep going on and on and on like the Energizer Bunny. And when you don't give yourself time to rest, and I mean literally, sometimes that means like literally sleep, take naps and stuff. When you don't give yourself the time that your body needs to reset and recharge, you just get bombarded and overwhelmed by everyone else's energy, because most of the people around you have like generator type energy, and it's enveloping, and so you don't get a break. And that's what I felt like. I had zero breaks from anything and anyone for like 2.5 weeks. It was almost like, and this seems like bad, like I'm saying this, but I'm going to just say it because it was a lesson, right? And it almost felt like being in a literal, like energetic torture chamber for like 2.5 weeks. And that's not like, I'm not talking specifically about anyone except the environment. It was like, for me, my experience of it was like being in a torture chamber. Yeah. It's like not being able to like rest and like not being able to like retreat. There was no separation ever between anything, or anyone that was going on. And so it was like insane. So that might be like, you know what? The truth is that it's not an exaggeration. I feel like I handled it like freaking with flying colors. Like I handled it amazingly, because I was literally like, not able to put any energy or do anything in regards to work. Like I wasn't able to go live. I wasn't able to like do anything. Like I didn't even write the newsletters, you guys. I didn't even write the newsletters. I mean, like, there's something up. And I got some like text messages from people like, hey, are you all right? Because like I just freaking vanished out of thin air. And I literally wasn't even able to give anything, like, because my entire time was used up like in like survival mode. I know this sounds really like dramatic, right? And if you actually looked at it from the outside, you'd be like, what are you talking about? But I'm talking about my internal experience. So what I learned is the things that I learned are that when I go on like trips or long trips and I plan on working, I need to set up like a separate space for me to do that, because otherwise it's not going to happen. And also, or prepare everything before, so that so I don't have to actually do anything. I don't have to go live. I don't have to do anything, right? Those are the two biggest lessons. And the other one is that I absolutely have to set strong boundaries, although strong boundaries were always being set, like constantly being set. And that was part of the exhaustion. It was like the constant having to set like boundary after boundary after boundary, like just to protect your own space and like sanity. And yeah, overall, it was like, it almost feels like I came out of that feeling a bit stunned, almost like deer in the headlights, like, what just happened? And then when I got home, right, we came back home literally on the day of the full moon. And it is a full moon in Cancer, which is all about home and family. So it's interesting that I'm like, once I like left and like finally got home to my space, I was like, oh, I can breathe. Oh. And then everything is set up. Like the studio is, everything's ready for me to go. So I can just film things if I need to. Like, and so I just felt like, okay, we're going to get back on track. Everything's going to be okay. And lesson learned, like big lesson for me. And the biggest theme that came, and I actually just finished, before I went live, I finished uploading the meditation video for this full moon for the membership, and the PDF journal for the membership. So you guys have those ready. You can do them tonight after this broadcast, or you could do it tomorrow, like this weekend. Like the energy is still here. So take advantage and just like tap into it, because it's really beautiful. I actually slept, well, on and off, because now I have puppies, right? So like there's really no break. That was part of it. It was like we had 2 puppies, and like we were at my mom's house, and we had to like make sure they didn't like break anything, chew on anything. And so it was like, that was part of the exhaustion, but there was like a lot more like added on to that in general. So, but this morning, it was like, we got home at like 11 p.m. last night. And this morning, the dogs, they're usually waking me up. It was like between 6:30 a.m., 7 a.m. over there in LA. So that would have been like around 8 a.m. here, which is not too bad. I don't mind getting up at 8, but 8 a.m. I'm up, taking the dogs out, feeding them, all that stuff. Right. And I was so exhausted. I like kind of reached my limit this morning, and I like had this intense, like a lot, like anger, like came out. Right. And I feel like I haven't really had time to like really release all that. Like, it was like I was in a pressure cooker and I couldn't release like anything. It was like intense. So anyways, then when the dogs were getting ready to go to sleep again, I actually went to bed, and it was around 10 a.m. this morning, and I slept until 1. So like another 3 hours, and Dawn slept until 1. Like he didn't even get up. So that tells you, and we're both projectors. Like that tells you like how backwards we were, how like not caught up on our rest either of us were as projectors. And so like we get home and we just sleep for hours. Like we just like sleep it off. So that's where I'm at. I'm going to actually turn off the heater because it's a little hot. But that's to give you a little update on what basically went down. I've also been going through this desire. I've had this desire inside that I want to kind of change around or shift things around a little bit. And obviously this is like moving into the new year. These are kind of like the resolutions that I want to make, or the things that I want to focus on. One of them is I really want to find a new flow for the channel and figure out what broadcasts I'm going to be doing live on YouTube, and then which broadcasts I'm going to be doing on the private membership, because I do want to create a beautiful community that's outside of YouTube and social media on my own platform, which that's one of the biggest announcements that I'm going to say today is we have a community that is getting built right now by me, because honestly, literally, you guys, I do everything. Like, I schedule the emails, I film the videos, I, make the PDFs, I do any kind of like handouts or anything like that, images, like literally everything. So like when I'm not able to do it, then it doesn't happen. And that was another huge lesson is I did way too much in 2022. And so 2023, my biggest theme is I'm coming home. And what that means for me and for us is, for one, is to like simplify things, because home should not feel like a pressure cooker, and home should not feel like a torture chamber. So simplify things, and that includes like everything. Like everything is gonna get like a facelift or whatever. And I don't know exactly what it's going to look like, but I know that I'm going to redesign the way that I do, what videos I do live on YouTube, which ones I do in the membership, and all that stuff. So you'll just kind of start to see it all unfold as the time goes by. I also had to make a decision about the Moon Goddess training, and the decision is that instead of starting in January, we're actually going to start the Moon Goddess training in February. So we have some time. So I have more time to prepare and get ready for it. And it's level 1 in February. And we will be doing level 1, level 2, and level 3 this year. But we won't start till February, so that everyone has time to like process and I can really focus and be ready. Because one of the things that I'm also going to make sure that I do is to give myself time to be able to travel more, not on like huge long trips, but just with my dogs. Cause right, I want to be able to go to Sedona more, and I want to be able to do more live events in Sedona. And so I need that for my own sanity. And so simplify things so that everything can have more quality. And that's what you're going to start to see. So I'm really excited about it. And we're going to be coming home together this year. That's the theme for 2023, coming home. So our community that I'm going to focus on that first. So I'll get that finished, the platform set up and everything. And the community will be free for everyone to join. It's going to be basically a combination of like Facebook, Instagram, private messaging, like what I was doing on MeWe with the groups. I can live stream on the app, and it's got a lot of like dynamic use. So we'll be able to communicate with each other more directly, which is what we used to be able to do, but haven't, because I am not on Facebook anymore. And that's just a personal choice. But anyways, this community, this platform has everything that we need. So it's going to be free for everyone. So once it's ready, I will let you know and everyone can join. And so there'll be certain levels, like there's the free level, and then there's the Starseed membership level, and then there's the courses that you'll be able to sign up for and take with it. And it all happens all within one space, which is actually amazing. So simplifying and coming home to our own special private space. So freaking excited about that. And it's beautiful to talk about all this stuff right now, because this full moon in Cancer is really like the unfoldment of, the everything that you, like the seeds that you planted 2 weeks ago, which was basically right around the winter solstice, the beginning of the winter season. And so to talk about how we're coming home more this year it's like perfect timing. It's totally synchronistic, and you'll see how cool when we go into the gene keys of this full moon, how it all matches together. So those are things that are going to be coming up, and I can't wait to share that with you, to have the platform ready, to invite everyone to join, and we'll have like a special event and everything. But for now, hang tight, because I will be coming out with more details later. So Jill says, worn ragged. Yes, Same, same. So I'm going to stop wearing myself ragged this year. Like I decided to stop doing that to myself to JTS. Oh my God, that's hilarious, Nelly. So I just decided to stop doing that to myself because I have all these ideas and I want to do all of them. And then I overwhelm myself. And when I want to go do something that requires me to be not present, I'm not able to do both at the same time. And it just gets frustrating. And so that's my goal. I wanted to share that with you guys since this is technically my first broadcast of 2023. I do want to wish you all a happy new year. And I am so excited for our journey together through this year. Really, 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 really excited. Like, can't freaking wait for it to unfold. And I can't wait for me to just like chill. Like Jai needs to chill. Okay. So let's hop into the astrology. I'm going to share my screen. So you should be able to see the chart here. Let me know when you can in the chat. Yoga Fundamental says, I feel that so much, Jai. Yeah, and I hope you align too with that commitment, that intention for 2023, coming home and simplifying things. I think you will enjoy it more that way. I 100% agree with you, Dawn, and it's going to be really, really nice to get on like a more regular thing. So here is awesome. Here is the chart. So we've got sun at 16 over here, moon at 16 over here. These are opposing. That's how you know this is a full moon, when the sun and the moon are exactly opposing. And it's a full moon in Cancer. What's really cool about this 16 degrees of Cancer is that it's 2 degrees away from a star called Sirius. You guys know Sirius, right? Sirius is a big deal. When the Sirius star rises with the sun during the Lion's Gate, so around August, that's when the new Atlantean year begins. And it's connected to ancient Atlantis, ancient Egypt, the Sphinx. There's powerful connections to the Sphinx. It's also known as the dog star. And in ancient Egypt, obviously, like animals were a huge part of like their understanding of deities and things like that. So really powerful stuff that we are connecting with right now during this time. The other thing is that the Sirius star has connections to goddess Isis. And so it's a Sirius portal. Sirius is also the energy of intuition, and it's Cancer. So Cancer is the moon goddess and the great mother. And it's like, it's the water that flows. It's the emotions that flow. It's the things that move through us. And it has to do with family. It has to do with home. It has to do with very strongly the moon. The moon is very strong here because she's in her home sign. And when the moon is in Cancer, it is a very powerful, intuitive time. Also very intensely emotional. You know, moon in Cancer can be very emotional. I am feeling actually a calming effect from it. Although I do feel that there's this kind of, I feel like the processing of emotions needs to happen for me in a personal way a lot more than it has, and than I've been able to in the last couple of weeks. I also need to do a lot of like energy kind of detoxing, and like my nervous system just feels like completely just shot. And to take care of myself means just simplifying things, right? Getting back on track. And this could be for you too. You might be also experiencing this too. I think it's beautiful that we have a full moon in Cancer as the first full moon of the year, right? Like that's cool. Like that's why the theme for me in 2023 is coming home to me. And that means for you too, like you coming home to you, us coming home to ourselves. And I feel that very strongly has to do with the heart center. And also goddess Isis is also the energy of expression. It's what comes out from creative flow. And she's the great mother as well. So it's the mother that holds us, that holds space for us, that makes us feel safe and secure. And that feels like such a cool way to start the new year for me. So this is where we're at. The other thing too is this moon is actually conjunct Pallas Athena. And Pallas Athena is the goddess of wisdom. So wisdom comes through our emotions. If you are an emotional authority in human design, you have that flow of emotions, that wave of emotions that comes and goes, and you can't stop it. You are the emotional beings of the world. And so this is about you honoring your flow of emotions, the wisdom of your emotions. For those with an undefined solar plexus who don't have emotional authority, you know, your job is about honoring your sensitivity to emotions, to other people's emotions, and honoring your ability to hold the space of neutrality, and to pass and to be able to move the emotions through you and learn the wisdom of the emotions by way of experiencing other people's emotions, and what you can learn, what you're learning from seeing the emotions move through your body as well. It's not that you're not an emotional being, it's just that you have the ability to be neutral, whereas others that have emotional authority don't. So there's wisdom in all of it. It's the wisdom of the emotions. And emotions are the most powerful thing about us, you know. It's the most powerful thing about being a human being. Like your emotions can move mountains, you know. Like emotions can move you. They can move others. We can move each other through like something that brings emotion, you know, into our lives, and then it kind of it melts us a little bit, and that connection is what connects us more to each other. So it's really beautiful. It's the wisdom of the emotions. This is the moon of the wisdom of the emotions. And then on the other side, you've got the sun conjunct Mercury, which is about its communication. Now Mercury is retrograde, and a retrograde Mercury, although it's the smallest planet, we often can feel small, like irritating things like, oh, the computer doesn't work, or the internet doesn't work, or like, because networks of communication can falter during this time, because it's not about communicating outwards, it's about communicating inwards. Retrograde is about reflection. And when you give yourself time to reflect and not go outwards with your communication, but rather inwards, that's when the retrograde best serves you. So things slow down during retrogrades, communication slows down, because it's all a movement inward. So that's another aspect that's happening right now during this full moon, is that Mercury is retrograde. It's also in Capricorn. And Capricorn is a sign of business, career, life purpose. It's how you show up in the world. It's your business relationships as well. And so this is about communicating your goals, right? Like goal planning, being goal oriented. That's very Capricorn. It's looking to the future and saying, this is what I want, and I see the path to get from here to there. Okay, this is how much work I'm going to have to put into it. So I'm going to do it because I know that I want to get there. And it doesn't matter what it takes to get there, we get there. So this is about also processing through your mind how you're going to meet the goals that you're setting for yourself in this very reflective space, right? I'm Mercury ruled. I'm Gemini rising. So Mercury rules my chart. And when my mind and my thoughts and how I process my thoughts is a huge part of who I am and how I understand the world. So, and how others see me. So this is about knowing what your goals are, processing them, reflecting on them, and getting ready for this moment of like really connecting deeply, or deeper than you ever have, with your emotions. So that means trusting your emotions. This is a time for us to trust our emotions, because again, they have so much wisdom to share with us. The moon is also making a sextile to Uranus over here, right around there. It is also making a trine to Neptune, who's over there, and also making a square to Chiron. So those are significant. All of those things, like Uranus brings in an unpredictability. It's like you don't have everything you need to make the choice. You know, it's like, or something veers into your path and you didn't expect it, but now it's here. And so now you need to work with the new energy, with that whatever showed up. The square to Chiron brings up lessons, the learning of lessons, the releasing of lessons, the moving through the challenging parts of our healing journey. And in this case, Chiron in Aries is about healing our own connection to who we are, like finding ourselves, finding our identity. With this moon making a trine to Neptune, it makes it even more intuitive. Like it heightens our senses. It heightens our intuitive senses. It awakens our understanding of the power of the emotions, and to help us to understand the world, and to help us to understand and to help us to increase our ability to see the unseen and hear the unheard. So I feel like this is a beautiful full moon where that Mercury is making a very powerful internal journey out of, where we're learning the powerful wisdom of our emotions, the goddess, our intuition, all of that stuff. So let's go over the Chandra symbol and the Sabian symbols of this full moon, and then the gene keys, so that we can understand it from a more metaphorical perspective. So first, we will go over the Sabian symbol. So these symbols can bring us often, hello everyone, welcome in, can bring us a lot of understanding, symbolic meaning into the understanding of the full moon or new moon or whatever astrological aspect we're looking at. Sometimes they really kind of like complicate or convolute things. So it's your choice how you want to interpret this information. So, Cancer, 16 degrees of Cancer, the leader of a resistance group in a deceptively casual conversation with a junior member tries to determine whether he should be let in on their upcoming operation. This is about looking around for people one can trust to help manage a growing concern. This is about building up an inner circle of helpers who are loyal not only to oneself, but to one's cause. This is about playing one's cards close to the chest, keeping inside information out of the hands of one's enemies, while simultaneously learning all about them through a network of contacts, tact and diplomacy, trading aid or information. This is about building for the future by making sure that what one cares about survives and thrives. That's beautiful. What one cares about survives and thrives. That's very Cancerian. Even after one's death, make willing sacrifices for the future. This is about moving forward only after one has lined up enough aid, money, and knowledge. Developing one's cause covertly before coming out and openly declaring one's beliefs. This is about organizing one's life around one's commitments. And there's a lot there. There's a lot of like knowing where you're going, right? You got to know where you're going to get there. You have to understand the path towards your goals to be able to get there. But the main thing is like you got to know what you want and where you're going and where you're trying to get. So it makes a lot of sense to me. I feel that this is what this moon is bringing up in me, and why my personal experience is to watch where in my life am I not moving in the direction of where I want to go, or if there's things that are not in alignment, how can I realign my life? And if I'm going in a direction that I don't want to go anymore, then how can I stop doing that and do something that I do want? Because we know that when it comes to this energy of coming home and the energy of Cancer and understanding our feelings and our emotions and not ignoring our feelings and our emotions, when we understand that, the importance of that, then we can truly understand why we feel the way we feel. So let's look at the Chandra symbol of the moon. That feels very, very fitting too for the new year. Very fitting for the new year. I'm really liking this energy. So here is the Chandra symbol. A woman working busily at a spinning wheel. Trans states as natural evolution. Being inside the inside, yet staying under and weaving a web in time of remembrance and forgetfulness and remembrance. Deeply involved with the personal, yet coldly detached from whatever does not serve. Persuading, teaching, invoking, insisting that what comes next, that we must get on with the dance. This is the penetrating sensitivity which finds what can be brought forward and fosters it all pervasively. The collective voice of conscience at her post, attentive and scrutinizing. Avoid in terms of letting everything be, and an immense force to follow the thread of growth and development all the way through, catching every stitch. That's so beautiful. I'll read it again. A woman working busily at a spinning wheel. Trans states as natural evolution. Being inside the inside, yet staying under and weaving a web in time of remembrance and forgetfulness and remembrance. Deeply involved with the personal, yet coldly detached from whatever does not serve. Persuading, teaching, invoking, insisting that what comes next, that we must get on with the dance. This is a penetrating sensibility which finds what can be brought forward and fosters it all pervasively. The collective voice of conscience at her post, attentive and scrutinizing. Avoid, in terms of letting everything be, and an immense force to follow the thread of growth and development all the way through, catching every stitch. That is so, so powerful. Wow. It's the movement. It's the flow. And I didn't mention this yet, but the Cancer energy is connected to the lymphatic system. And the lymphatic system is about the flow of the body. It's like if things aren't flowing well, and things are getting stuck, the stagnant energy causes like disease. So when you get stuck, that's when disease happens in the body. And so Cancer is connected to the lymphatic system by way of the emotions. And so when emotions get stuck, then that's when disease shows up in the body. Discomfort, all that stuff, right? For the last 2 weeks, I experienced a lot of weird like physical symptoms of just like not urgent things, but like just my body telling me like things are not okay. Like you should probably change what you're doing or what's happening, like get out of the situation, like all this stuff, because things didn't feel right in my body. I wasn't digesting correctly. And this happens to me every time I go to LA, but I mean, I'm learning more and more all of the intricate details of how sensitive I am to specific places and people and things like that. So it's, like I said, huge learning experience, but also this moon specifically helping us to understand where we're at in that flow, like in that space. And when we feel stuck, to pay attention, because the stuckness leads to more problems. Doesn't resolve anything to ignore how you feel or what's going on. So really, really important. Emotions. Like, did I say that enough? Okay, I want to go into the gene keys, and the gene key that we have here that we are talking about with this full moon is the 53rd gene key. The 53rd gene key, evolving beyond evolution. This gene key moves from the shadow of immaturity to the gift of expansion and the city of superabundance. So let's read about the 53rd city, superabundance, the end of evolution. The 53rd city has given rise to one of the greatest misunderstandings in the history of spirituality. that of rebirth and karma. It is widely held among Eastern mystical traditions that the soul is born, dies, and then is reborn in another body over and over again. Through accumulated good deeds, the individual soul eventually attains transcendence of karma and becomes liberated or enlightened, at which point it cannot take another incarnation but returns to its limitless source. This is the basic dogma of reincarnation, or the transmigration of the soul. In Buddha's words, as there is no self, there is no transmigration of a self. But there are deeds and the continued effect of deeds. There is rebirth of karma, there is reincarnation. This rebirth, this reincarnation, this reappearance of the confrontations is continuous and depends on the law of cause and effect. From the Buddha's words, it is quite clear that he has been greatly misrepresented down the centuries. He states clearly here that there is no individual self or soul to be reborn, but that what reincarnates is the karma of your actions. This means that there is no such thing as individual karma. Your actions go into the collective unconscious, where they stir up mirror counter effects. All deeds of a selfish nature reinforce the collective shadow frequency, and all deeds that bring about synthesis strengthen the collective higher frequencies. This process of reincarnation is explored in more depth in the 24th city of silence. The great truth that comes through the 53rd city is that life consists of endless beginnings, but no endings. This is the true meaning of superabundance. Life goes on, creating new forms whose actions determine the nature and destiny of future forms. There is no continuity between the forms themselves, other than the genetic mechanism creating them. What continues, and what is superabundant, is consciousness itself, as it endlessly penetrates the collective and writes the story of evolution. In this context, the city of superabundance is perhaps not quite as glamorous as it sounds. Material abundance is far more likely to occur at the gift frequency, as at that level, there is still a basic interest in your personal destiny and the destiny of others. The energy of bhakti, of giving to others, creates a huge upsurge in the collective energy field, which stirs all sorts of beneficent energies return to you. In this respect, you could say that the 53rd gift conceals the ultimate secret of material abundance. However, at the citic level, your identification with your body, destiny, and self totally dissolves, leaving you in a mystical state of emptiness. It is a place where there is no further expansion because there is no evolution. If you are identified with the form of the world, you are identified with change because all life is programmed to evolve. To one who has awakened through the eyes of the 53rd city, humankind is both a being and a becoming. The form endlessly evolves and expands, but the consciousness never changes. And here we humans have made a basic error. We have identified with the instrument of our awareness, which expands according to the laws of evolution. We are indeed entering a new evolutionary phase right now, in which human awareness seems ready to make a great quantum leap in terms of its expansion. But even though awareness may expand, consciousness does not and cannot expand, since it is already everywhere and everything and even every when. This is crucial truth to understand. Beneath the form, consciousness never changes or evolves or expands or contracts. It simply is. Superabundance refers to the concept beyond abundance, a space in which life is witnessed impassively by life. At the gift level, one rides the currents of evolution, which is always exciting and thrilling because you are at the cutting edge of awareness. At the Siddhic level, however, all excitement and all responsibility are gone. There is no longer an edge, since all is experienced as a game in time and space. There is no personal comment anymore. There is no interest in destiny or evolution or expansion, since all such concepts are seen for what they are, places of identification which conceal the truth. It is here, in the 51st city, that we find the allegorical meaning of rebirth. You cannot take another birth because you realize that you have never been born. The mind is no longer following the arc of evolution, but finally rests in its true nature as superabundant being. People born into this 53rd city kill beginnings, or they kill endings. Whichever way you look at it, they bring an end to the paradox of human cycles. Superabundance is a space beyond frequency, but we can only describe it as a very high frequency at which there is nothing left to do in the world. The 53rd city represents the state beyond and behind awareness known as pure consciousness. Therefore, it can be said that consciousness in action manifests as expansion and evolution, whereas consciousness at rest is the true underlying nature of everything. These people of the 53rd city were once undoubtedly seekers themselves, since this gene key involves the gradual expansion of human awareness. However, at a certain point, you have to let go of your seeking, as the awareness inside expands outside the form. Wow. Up to this point, expansion has been gradual, although it often makes small leaps and forays into higher states. At this final stage, the stage known as realization or enlightenment, the great and final leap occurs. It is the shocking leap into pure consciousness at the end of evolution itself. Wow. Did it, Raven? She says, my candle flame just got super high. Wow. Yeah. So this moves from the shadow of immaturity to the gift of expansion to the city of superabundance, where basically evolution stops. You know what I love about this energy? I love that I love how every time we get to the Siddhic state in the gene keys, that we move to the space of like nothingness. I just love it. It's like no matter what gene key you're like reading or talking about, like it goes beyond the issue. And that's the message that's coming through for us right now, is that this moon is asking us to go beyond the thing, beyond the original thing, beyond the issue, beyond the karma, beyond the drama, beyond the story, beyond it, to a place where like it doesn't exist. Are you able to do that? Are you able to take yourself to a place where all of those problems and issues and things of the past, they don't longer exist? Yeah, exactly, right? Yo soy, I am. Because I am, right? Yo soy. Because you realize that beyond the awareness of that is pure consciousness. And the pure consciousness is basically, it's a state that it never begins and it never ends and it never has. And so you can't separate it, right? Right. So not being able to separate it, not being able to define it is what is frustrating for us. But the power lies in when you get to the realization that all of the things that you feel are things that you have to really focus on, that in fact, wouldn't you put less focus on that and put more focus on like what the whole picture? I always like looking at the whole picture. Yes, Abby says the void. I like looking at the whole picture, because looking at the whole picture as if you were a bird from overhead helps you to understand your life, and it helps you to move through, take quantum leaps through like karmic situations that normally you wouldn't be able to, because you were so involved in it, so identified with it, that you could never move beyond it. And I think that's the message here, is like, how can you move beyond those things that you are so identified with? Are you even able to? If you put your mind to it and kind of focus your energy, are you able to not identify with even like the things that you want to identify yourself with? Anyways, we're getting way out there with it. But overall, so the city of superabundance, going beyond evolution, basically taking, this moon is inviting us, this energy is inviting us to go beyond all of it, beyond the game, beyond the story, beyond everything. And when you do that, when you give yourself that higher perspective, when you come back to that neutral space, right? It's kind of like, if we go back to the idea of emotional authority, the goal of emotional authority beings is to always come back to neutral emotion, to a place of no emotion, and make decisions from there. And so that's what I feel is the key, right? Coming back to all this talk about emotions and Cancer and the goddess and the moon goddess and all this stuff is, can you get to a place where you understand your emotions, but you also are able to get to that neutral place of emotion? And from there is when the real truth will come out. Like the real truth will settle in. So amazing. I absolutely love everything about this moon. I'm really excited about what will unfold from this place. This is a beautiful opportunity for us to step into coming home, to ask ourselves, how do you want to come home? How do you want to bring yourself back to your center? What does that mean to you? Those are the questions that I would ask myself during this time to set yourself up for beautiful, I guess we could call it success, or more understanding in the future. And as we begin to move further into 2023. Before I leave, I do want to go through all of the signs and tell you where this moon is happening in your chart based off of your sun, moon, Venus, and rising. And so when I go through them, tell me in the chat which one is yours. So who is Aries, sun, moon, Venus, and rising? If you have Aries, sun, moon, Venus, rising, this moon is happening in the 4th house of the home. So this is home and family. This is really truly a homecoming. Every time the moon comes into Cancer, this is a homecoming for you. This is a moment to give yourself the time to connect deeply to the things that you call home, the things that feel like home to you, the relationships that are home to you. All of that is like, how can you come more home to yourself? All right. Who is Taurus? Sun, moon, Venus, and rising. If you are Taurus, sun, moon, Venus, and rising, this is happening in your 3rd house. So on top of asking you to really connect to your emotions, to pay attention, but to come to a neutral space, this moon is asking you to come to that space of neutrality through your communication. So what you say, how you say it, what you think, how you think it, what is the flow of thoughts, how you are understanding things in your life. All of these things are important for you to understand and get that higher perspective about your life right now. What's happening in your life right now is you will understand this energy through the way you communicate, how you communicate, what comes out like automatically out of you when you communicate, and when you communicate intentionally, what comes through you and what you think and how you process your thoughts. That's really important for you to pay attention to all of those things right now. Gemini, sun, moon, Venus, and rising. Let me know in the chat if you're Gemini. This would be me. This is a 2nd house energy. So the 2nd house is about being connected to the earth, being grounded, putting your feet on the ground, like feeling your feet in the earth and connecting to it, and being or understanding how you can ground yourself more during this time. And that includes how you can find more self-worth, how you can find more self-value, how you can love yourself more, your physical body, how you can connect more physically to the world around you by connecting more to the earth, by grounding yourself more. And that will automatically create more abundance in your life. Because when you value yourself, amazing things come to you. Awesome, Robin. All right, who's Cancer? Sun, Moon, Venus, and rising. This is obviously a moon that's happening in your first house. So happening in the first house is all about knowing yourself, understanding yourself. Where are you at with it? How are you identifying yourself during this time? How do you feel? What are you thinking? Everything comes back to you. It's like a really powerful self-reflection. So the way to move through this frequency, because this moon is really asking us to connect emotionally, to understand our emotions, is to ask yourself, how do I feel and why do I feel this way? If the why isn't answered, then just, can I be with these emotions without any judgment? Can I be with these emotions? Can I let myself feel? And can I recognize when I finally get to that neutral space and then look back at the experience, at the emotion, at the belief, whatever it is, and see it from a different point of view? And that's the wisdom. That's the wisdom that comes through. Leo, Sun, Moon, Venus, and rising. You guys are having a 12th house transit. For you, this is a very spiritual moment. It's an opportunity to connect with your higher self. It's an opportunity to connect to your soul, to the divine, to the world of the beyond, and to be in that space as you find your own wisdom. The wisdom emotionally right now will come through your connection to God and the divine. That's what will guide you forward. For Virgo, Sun, Moon, Venus, and rising, you guys are having an 11th house transit, which is about connecting to others, the group, the network, the people, the community, the friends. Like it's a lighter, it's not like deep bonds, although there could be very deep bonds, but it's a lighter connection. It's a more of like an acquaintance kind of energy. However, it's more expansive because it reaches out further, and it asks you to think about and ponder how you affect others. It's like it is the law of cause and effect, but it's also the law of rhythm, and basically like the ripples. That's the word that's coming through. How do your emotions affect in a rippling way everyone around you? Like, can you see your energy like go and reach others in a very powerful way? That wisdom is really important for you to understand right now during this full moon. Libra, Sun, Moon, Venus, and rising. You guys are having a 10th house transit. So this is all about career. This is about life path. This is about being present in the way that you are wanting to show up for the world, wanting to move forward with something that has meaning and that makes you feel like, oh, I'm actually helping here. I'm not just doing something because I like it. I'm actually like, I'm being of service in a way to the world by living in my destiny, by living in my purpose. So as you connect to your purpose, I love that, Rebecca. So as you connect to your purpose, your true purpose, you will find more value. You will find the value that you're bringing into the world, and that leads to more fulfillment in your life. Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Venus, and rising. You guys are having a 9th house transit, which means this is about spiritual integration. You're integrating something right now. Big, powerful experience. You're integrating it. And this is about you listening and paying attention to how you feel, because the wisdom, for all of us, the wisdom is in the emotions. So if you pay attention to how you feel right now, you will be able to process and understand and integrate your experience that you're having in this moment. That means understanding the why, the how, maybe the possibilities into the future. Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Venus, and rising. You guys are having an 8th house transit. Sagittarius is having a full moon in the house of death, change, and transformation. So this makes it a little bit of a rocky road, a little bit of a tower moment, the tower falling, the rug being pulled out from under you, but you learning through the experience, through how you feel, and through listening to how you feel and listening to your emotions, what the lesson is, what the wisdom is for yourself. for the experiences that you're currently having. This is the moment of conclusion for all of us too, because the full moon is always like completion and conclusion. So what is it's a realization of a journey that has felt like an ending, that is also a new beginning. And it's the contemplation of that is happening right now during this full moon for you. Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Venus, and Rising, you guys are having a 7th house transit. This is about relationships, your intimate relationships, also business partnerships. This isn't a isolated thing for you. This full moon, and anytime the moon is in Cancer, what comes up for you is your relationships. So what's going on in your relationship world is the first thing to ask yourself, and then you'll get some wisdom as to the why, the how, the maybe to understand more of the situation. But really you'll see the highlight is in some kind of an intimate or personal relationship that is coming up for you right now. And because of that, you are having to actually feel, which is hard for you. I mean, that's not an insult by any means. It's just easier for you to be more practical about things. It's not easy to like surrender to emotion. And whenever there's, especially Cancer full moon, makes you surrender to emotion in the realm of relationship, which can be kind of intense. So, but be present is a really important thing to remember, is to just be present through it and let it be. Like, let it be whatever it is. There's no need to logic your way through it or understand it in a practical way. It's just, can it be what it is? Can you let it be what is showing up without having to change it or transform it? Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Venus, and Rising, you guys are having a 6th house transit, which means this is bringing you into presence. What's really important for you is to be here now, just like that Nako song. Be here now and pay attention and listen and feel. Like, feel now. Like, don't hold yourself back from feeling, this is another sign that has a difficult time with emotions, because there's detachment. There's the desire to detach. So Capricorn and Aquarius have a hard time because they detach to the emotional realm because of the belief that it's not like, because there's a knowing that emotions flow, which means they're not consistent. Like, they're never consistent. And there's this belief that, like, because something is not consistent, you can't like trust it. But, right? The truth is that sometimes it's in the inconsistency that you actually understand things, and you can't predict everything, right? We know this, like, life is not predictable at all. So it's in surrendering to feelings, to letting yourself feel and be with it, present with the emotions, that will actually help you to understand your life in a more powerful way than detaching from emotions because you feel like you can't trust them. Maybe for once you can trust them. All right. Last but not least, Pisces, Sun, Moon, Venus, and Rising. You guys are having a 5th house transit. So for you, this is about letting your emotions flow your way into creativity. Let your emotions guide your creative thing. So if you're feeling like happy, then create happy things. If you're feeling sad, create sad things. But don't stop creating just because you don't feel the way that you want to feel. Let the creativity come through by way of the emotions. All right. That concludes our broadcast. However, let's pull one card for all of us, since we're not doing a ceremony. I'm going to pull one card from, there it is, from the Gene Keys book for all of us. This collective reading for all of us for this full moon. Are you ready? The 21st gene key with the gift of authority. This gene key moves from the shadow of control, hello Belinda, to the gift of authority, to the city of valor. I love anything that talks about valor and honor. Ultimately, the only ones who will be given positions of control will be those who have given up being in control. I love it. My gift to you. I come to share that true power has nothing to do with money or control. True power is about speaking and acting from the heart and grounding all that you do in a deep desire to serve, becoming true. Authority in your life requires both that you surrender and that you rise up to meet whatever life brings your way with enthusiasm, gratitude, and a deep sense of responsibility. You will know that you are owning your authority when you inspire loyalty and connectivity wherever you go. When everyone you represent, no matter what role they play, feels empowered, impassioned, and respected. It is time to listen deeply to the will of the groups in your life. Wow. And act sincerely on their behalf. Whoa. It is time to become the trustworthy person I know you can be. Whoa. Okay. So it is time for us to step into our authority. And guess what? Emotional authority. Because that's what this full moon in Cancer is asking us. Step into emotional authority. Whether you actually have emotional authority in your human design or you have an undefined solar plexus, it doesn't matter. It is understanding through letting your emotions teach you about your way of authority. So the emotions are the ones that take us to the wisdom. The wisdom comes through us paying attention to the emotions. That's why I'm calling it emotional authority, because it's about listening to your emotions. The emotions say a lot. All right. Thank you everyone so much for being here. It's good to be back. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I will be seeing you guys all next week. Satnam, Satnam. Watch out for some new and exciting things coming up here in this community. And if you have not yet, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, and download my free moon astrology guide to get on my email list so that you are up to date on all the cool things that are coming up, and also receive our weekly newsletter, which is called the Moon Magic Report, which gives you the astrology, the forecast for the week. All right. Love you guys so much, and I will see you all very soon. Satnam.